Hey there, how's it going? Today we're going to be upgrading the brakes on a 2006 Mini Cooper S. We're going to be upgrading to R56 brakes. The R56 features larger brake calipers and larger brake rotors. To do this upgrade, you're going to need brake calipers from an R56 Cooper S, R56 Cooper S brake rotors, and brake pads from the R56 Cooper S, as well as the brake lines. A lot of people choose to upgrade to a braided line when doing this. It's important to note that when you buy your brake calipers and rotors and pads, that you get them through the R56 Cooper S and not the regular Cooper. The regular Cooper has the same caliper, but the carrier bracket is different. This carrier bracket allows the use of this larger brake rotor and the larger brake pad. We'll start by lifting the vehicle and getting it safely supported on jack stands. Some tools that you're going to need for this job are a number 50 Torx, a number 7 hex, 5/8 socket, 13mm wrench, 11mm wrench, 14mm wrench, an adjustable wrench, and a ratchet. Brake clean, paper towels, and it really helps to have a power bleeder so you can bleed the brakes by yourself. Alright, now we're going to prep the caliper and get the new braided hose installed. And if you buy your calipers used, make sure you compress the piston before trying to install anything. These clips off of the brake caliper makes removing the brake caliper much easier. Now we're going to remove these dust caps from our slider pins. We're going to take our number 7 hex and remove the slider bolts. Slide the bolts out of the way with a flat-headed screwdriver. And wiggle the caliper off of the bracket here. Be very careful with your sensor, your pad sensor. Now remove the brake pad from the piston. what we're going to do is gently pry the sensor out of the brake pad. This is so we can install this into the new brake pads and not have to get a new sensor. If you wait until the sensor turns the light on, then you'll have to get a new sensor. Now we're going to take an air gun with our 5/8 socket. We're going to remove these two bolts to remove our caliper bracket. Now we're going to save these two bracket bolts. These are the same bolts that we're going to use to install our new bracket. Here on the front of the rotor, we're going to take our number 50 Torx and remove the rotor retaining bolt. Save that and we're going to reuse it. Now we remove the rotor. Sometimes it could be stuck on there and it's really hard to get off. Not in this case. Alright, I brought the new caliper over here, getting it ready, because we're going to remove our factory brake hose. I got paper towels ready because we're going to drip quite a bit of brake fluid out of here. We undo this top nut here and the hose will drop right down off of this bracket. The new hose goes through the hole in the bracket and this top nut will thread right into there. And we want to try to do this as quickly as possible to try to minimize how much fluid leaks out during this process. There we go, there's the fluid. Make sure our reservoir is not pressurized. And we are dripping a ton of fluid now. It's always handy to have lots of paper towels ready. Dripping all over the suspension. Now this hose will pull right down. Boop. The new hose right up into the hole. Thread our fitting in there. Make sure it's not cross-threaded. Now on to installing a new rotor. Now just tap it with an air gun, don't have to slam it down. On goes the bracket, using our old bracket bolts. Okay, we're going to take our pad, we're going to feed this brake wear sensor through the top opening of the brake caliper, like this, through this hole. And we're going to install our wear sensor into the new pad. There's a certain orientation this has to go. There's a side of the sensor that has the little bulge on it. Goes towards the rotor. And just push it down into the little slot until it clicks. Like that. We slide our pad on there. And it's important to note that there's a difference between the inner pad and the outer pad. And the main difference are these two little, well, I guess, rivets here. On the inner pad, they're much further apart. On the outer pad, they're closer together and they fit between these two things. Get our pads in there. Slide our caliper over the pads. Caliper bolts. Get our wear sensor wire strapped back on. Okay. I got this fancy power bleeder here. .15 psi. Take your wrench, crack the bleeder. Look at all that air coming out. Yes. You're gonna see the fluid start to turn. Clean up any spilled fluid. Get your wear sensor pressed back onto this bleeder fitting. Put the cap back on. And we're done.